message, and you two can take it to her.
We can't deliver love notes.
Love note? No, this is gonna be a hate note.
Sounds good to me.
Dear Nikki Haley, I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. Love, Alfalfa. Okay.
What's up, guys? Penny. I'm going to show you some data that is absolutely radicalizing, especially on a day like today, which is Veterans Day, where you can see that the veterans who returned from World War II right here in 1950, they were below the age of 30, most of them. It was young men who fought that war and died in that war. And what was promised to them? Well, the American dream, and it delivered. The percentage of under 30-year-olds who were both married and homeowners, obviously the signs of success in a healthy and functional society, at 55%, you can see right here, directly after the war, it ticked up even just a bit. And then, as globalism and Marxism set in, and as our leaders betrayed us as a society, as a culture, and a people, they have stolen that American dream to the point of it being virtually impossible to be 30, married, with a home. It hovers right now at approximately 10%. That is the destruction of the American dream. It's radicalizing for young people, especially when they look and see that the primo American jobs that their fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers fought for, this dynamic and advanced economy that we created, well, the promise of those jobs are going to people who weren't born here. Cumulative total foreign-born white-collar workers in the U.S. by year. When the greatest generation came home from World War II, it was about 1%. Okay, fine. It stayed at 1% for a long time until the 1980s, when you saw an inflection that never stopped, a trend line that has never stopped, and it's just risen exponentially all the way to 20% now. Goodness gracious, of foreign-born white-collar workers per year. Ladies and gentlemen, how about this? Why can't I afford a home? Well, could it be that the federal government has been subsidizing illegals in order to give them the homes that you or your family might occupy? And that doesn't mean that every single home in America is occupied by an illegal, but every single time one of these loans backed by the FHA goes to an H1-B visa holder or somebody without permanent residency, meaning a criminal alien, the federal government pays for it, forces you to pay for it. That makes all of the homes in your neighborhood skyrocket. You can see here, over 6% of all loans went to criminal aliens or people that don't have residency here? 6%? Do you know what that's going to do to the market? What if the government subsidized 6% of all gasoline? Or any commodity, any product, because there's a limited amount of homes. There's not an unlimited amount. There's a limited, locked amount of homes that are available today. And the federal government used your money to pay for 6% of them for people that don't live here and probably won't stay here. What the hell is that going to do to the housing market? It's going to radicalize you. And that's what's happening to a very unlikely individual. Nikki Haley's son, who went radical and broke, frankly, with his mother, who is one of those individuals to say, and I can't believe that this is still a quote that was said by an American politician, that it's not Israel that needs America, America needs Israel. No, that's not true, actually. And an insane thing to say as somebody running for president of America. It'd be an insane thing to say about Ukraine or Russia. It'd be an insane thing to say if a leader of China said that China needs Israel, Israel doesn't need China. It'd be I mean, that's just the single most mind-boggling, brain-melting commentary that you could ever say about any country if you want to be president of your own nation. Nikki Haley's son, Nalin Haley, doesn't believe that, actually. Very interesting. Her son thinks Israel is just another country, which it is. It is just another country. And it's not my country. It's not America. America's my country. I just really don't care, frankly. And I don't care about Chad or Somalia or Ukraine or any of them. You know, I'd like to see foreign development money go to zero. I think America could deal with an entire generation of $0 going to other nations. We have so many problems here. I think maybe we do that first, right? Enough of these charts. Enough of this chart. You want to solve this problem? Spend zero on foreign nations and spend all that money here in America. Subsidize first-time homebuyer mortgages. Do it. For people under the age of 30, do that. That's something that needs to happen like immediately. That's my solution. Do it. We subsidize student loans, and that's the single most retarded program in the history of the world. Do this and actually help Americans instead of making them debt slaves for the rest of their lives with worthless degrees. Do a tax credit. Subsidize first-time home buyers. You want to reignite the American dream? Do that. No foreigners, no banks, no BlackRock, Vanguard, Wall Street, multinational, globalist corporation. Just do that. Anyway, it seems like Nikki Haley's son agrees. Israel is just another country. And if they want to have a better relationship with the United States, they need to stop interfering in our politics, says her son. Goodness. Nikki Haley believes in an expansive foreign policy. Her son wants to end all foreign aid. Well, there you go. As long as we have unemployment, people below the poverty line, medical debt, and bad schools, the domestic ills aren't an abstraction to him. My friend group thinks from high school, I think all graduated with great degrees from great schools. It's been a year and a half. Not one of them has found a job, not one. I'm so angry because I'm having to try and help my friends get jobs when their parents got jobs immediately just after graduating college. It's just not the same universe for boomers. It really isn't. Statistics bear this out. In September, the share of long-term unemployed, those who have been out of a job market for more than 6 months, hit 26%, according to the New York Times. Much of it driven by recent graduates. The jobs that are available to recent graduates are often precarious or temporary. So you see a bunch of foreigners coming over here to take jobs that my friends wanted. They have every right to be pissed, and I'm pissed for them. Hello? Here it is. There's the data. It isn't about just jobs alone. Look at the housing market. Based. I'm going to like this kid. I don't like this kid. You know, like put all the beef aside. I've never met him, but like, look at the housing market. Listen to what he says here in this article. I don't see how I'm ever going to own a house. And I do very well for somebody my age. He works at a finance institution in South Carolina. I still don't see it. Again, this is generational discontent. My parents bought their first house for $90,000. And I mean, that house probably is now worth $400,000. How can we compete? There's a rising crime disorder, and I live in what's known as a very safe area. Yes, someone got shot and killed outside of my apartment complex a couple months ago, outside my apartment. I got jumped, and I'm tired of having to go to CVS and push a button for an employee to come unlock the toothpaste. This is ridiculous. Based. Overall, the effect is akin to living in a fake world, fake TV show, where the United States of America, we don't do this. Things ought to be safe. Things should work. People should have jobs. Houses should be affordable. And they were. Nikki Haley kid. They were. Nalin Haley is his name. This America existed in your grandparents' era. There it is, right there. Where we had a society that was safe, that had a shared culture, a shared heritage, that had a shared sense of values. That society existed, that believed that the utmost important thing is to pass on and give to the next generation instead of take from them. That existed. Nikki Haley's son speaks out. Nikki Haley's Nepo baby son is ripped to shreds after whining about housing crisis. Okay, I'm sure that this is exactly the correct angle that I'm taking, I'm saying good for him. But this is how the Daily Mail frames it. I mean, what do you think? Why Nikki Haley's son went radical, his generation inherited insecurity. That's true. Fascinating young man who I believe will play an important role in conservative politics for years to come. Here's Nalin Haley. This is his account here. I'm going to follow it right now. The only thing you want to conserve is GDP, then you're not a conservative, he says. I agree. There are two trains of thought in the conservative movement right now, and they're at war. One train of thought is nihilistic libertarianism that reduces all human beings down to their economic unit. It says get up and move. If things get too expensive, shut up. You have no right to this land, or you have no right to this place. You have no right to live near your parents or near their graves, your grandparents' graves. You're nothing. You're just you're just numbers on a piece of paper. You have no past. You have no future. You have no heritage. You have no history. And then there's heritage Americans that say all of that is bullshit. And I do have a right to this land that my ancestors fought for, as does every nation on earth. And there are things that actually hold us together. And we do actually have community in a society here in America. We're not just an economic zone. I totally agree. This is my first interview. I was called angry, and that's because I am. I'm angry at the state of our country. I'm angry that I don't feel represented by our leaders. I voiced my frustration. Gen Z feels voiceless. Key takeaways from my first TV interview. The future of Gen Z is nationalist. Agree. Illegal and illegal immigration. Both legal and illegal immigration must stop. Agree. Ban H1-B visas. Agree. And send H1-B visa holders home. Reevaluate our relationship with so-called allies and Gen Z's desire for labor affordability and safety. Agree on all those points. Crazy. Became a Nalin Haley fan. Since this interview, criticized by the left and the right as fascist and socialist and angry. Yeah. All we want is jobs, affordability, and safety. It's not radical to want these things. Yeah. Keep flooding our country with immigrants who take American jobs, who do nothing about the housing crisis, and continue to catch and release violent criminals. This is mere rhetoric. It's reality for an entire generation. The rise of the young right is inevitable. We will correct the mistakes of previous generations and save America. Okay. Well, I thought this was a unique and interesting, given the fact that this is Nikki Haley's son here. And he made his debut on Fox News last night. Nikki Haley's Gen Z son is a based right-winger. Nice. No H1-B visas, no forever wars, or foreign wars, just period. Distrust of government, and converted to Catholicism. He gives his first interview ever. Here's the major takeaway from that interview. Hey, man, kids are all right. There you go.
We have Nalin Haley in his very first television appearance. Nalin, thank you so much for joining us today. So why don't we start with what are these anxieties that your generation, I think I laid some of them out. What does your generation think is the answer to these anxieties?
Well, a big problem is that we are seeing kids graduate with 6 figures in debt and not having a job to show for it. My main friend group graduated with great degrees from great schools. It's been 1.5 years since graduation. Not one of them has a job, not one. And when we look at all the other statistics, we see that 58% of recent college graduates are unemployed. Of those 42% that are employed, 50% of them are having temporary jobs or jobs that don't require a degree. And then when you look at affordability in the housing market, my parents probably bought their first house for $90,000, and now it's probably worth $400,000. I don't see how I'm ever going to own a home, and I do pretty well for myself. So it's not just me that's feeling it, it's everyone feeling it. And you look at the crime and the lawlessness. In just the past couple months, I had someone who was shot and killed outside my apartment, and I live in what is considered a very safe area. In that same couple months, you had someone who was jumped over a bad drug deal. And I'm sick and tired of having to go to CVS and have to push a button for an employee to unlock the toothpaste for me. This is America. This isn't what we do. This isn't how things work. Things should be able to work. People should have jobs. Houses should be affordable. This isn't normalcy. And the American dream is becoming less and less attainable with each passing day.
Absolutely. Just this past week, we saw the introduction by the Trump administration of the idea of a 50-year mortgage. What do you think about that?
Whatever will lower the cost of houses, because right now we are prioritizing a lot of foreigners who come in here to take jobs, who work, and especially that's something we need to do. We need to get rid of the foreign worker visas. We need to ban H1-B visas, and we need to punish companies that are not putting American workers first and are putting foreigners first. It's a massive problem. And so anything to put more money in Americans' pockets and put American workers first, lower the cost of housing, I think we should absolutely do it.
A lot of people are surprised at your position on H1-B visas, because you're Indian American,
they
and H1-B visas a lot of them go to Indian Americans.
Right. Well, I mean, they shouldn't be, because I've seen how it's affected my friends and those around me. At the end of the day, my loyalty is to America. I don't have any, and that's part of assimilation. What we saw with Obama is that we had a lot of immigrants coming here, and the thought was, oh, you don't need to change. You don't need to have your loyalty to America. You could be who you are. No, you need to assimilate, and you need to act like an American and support American values and support American workers and American people. So, yeah, we should absolutely ban it.
I think there's a lot of people in the political party, in the Republican Party, who are a little bit worried and fearful. But it sounds like your ideas are very practical and very much relate to what is going on with your generation. I hope we can have more conversations with you, Nalin. You're a very smart, bright boy, a lot of independent ideas. Good for you. Nalin, thanks for joining us.